Okay, let's see, it says to do,
Judge, I'm Jules Cohn. Welcome to the bench.
hello, how are you?
Yes, Judge.
All right, your microphone's off, I hear a microphone, so I'll call over to North Broward, thank you.
No problem.
Anybody at North Broward? Condi? Paul Ryan? Ma'am, at Paul Ryan, deputy?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I don't know, somebody's mic's on, either at Connie, North Broward, I think yours, you just turned it on, right?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Well, I just have to sign the paperwork. Willie, did he sign the paperwork?
Oh, he's not supposed to.
He's asking Brian questions.
Yeah, he said he thinks he knows who he is. He's really quiet. He said he works on the weekends mostly. Yeah, yeah.
Like white as can be.
And dark. Okay, he's a mistake. No, he thinks it's a dark hair.
No, it's white.
He has 2 felonies.
Gray hair. Okay.
Ask him if he knows Joe.
Isn't that what you said? He has 2 felonies
Yes.
pending?
Joe DeLito.
National Patrol to second floor movement.
Sure. For Virginia? Can you tell us what she has out of Virginia?
It's a felony. Felony.
It's a drug
dangerous
charge.
drugs.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, go.
I'm gonna come. I'll see if I can go.
This is in Spanish and English? That's fine, I'll just, thank you though, Willie, for letting me know.
I don't blame.
Can I have that other lady's extradition form back just for one moment?
The one that just left.
Thank you. Hey, there you go. All right, so that concludes our extradition docket. Thank you very much. All right, so deputies, if I could have you come here just for one moment. Thank you. All right, good afternoon, everybody. You're in first appearance magistrate court. Today you will be informed of the charges and determine if there's probable cause against you in your case. Today is not your trial day. Do not talk about the facts of your case. Everything's being recorded. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. We have Mr. Romero that is hopefully at the main jail. And we also have Mr. Reedy here, who's in the courtroom if you're not at the main jail. If you have a private attorney, please let me know when you step up to the podium. Okay, do we have any private attorneys?
Yes,
Hello,
Your Honor.
how are you?
I'm fine, Judge. I've got Wyman Gresham, Richard Delafair on behalf of Mr. Gresham.
Okay. Okay, do we have a William Lee Gresham?
Yes, Brown.
Oh. Didn't click, there it goes, Will. All right, are you William Lee Gresham?
No, ma'am. Wayman Lee Gresham.
Waynham, I'm sorry,
Wayman, Your Honor.
Wayman, I see that.
Yes.
Okay, sir, you are charged with 2 offenses. Do you waive formal reading?
Yes, we'll waive formal reading, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, the court does find probable cause unless I hear an objection.
Well, Judge, I
It's a
think my,
warrant to arrest, I'm sorry. So there is probable cause
Right.
already. So let me ask you this, State, what are you asking for in this case?
Your Honor, and I spoke with counsel about this. Your Honor, I am quite concerned reading the affidavit, not just based on the allegations that make up the 2 charges, but it appears that this has been a course of conduct that has been going on for years now. And a course of conduct involving other students at the school. Your Honor, frankly, and respectfully, Judge Raballo, I don't believe $25,000 on each count is a high enough bond based on these allegations, Your Honor, and concern I have for minors in the community. I'm going to be requesting bonds in the amount of $50,000 per count. Should Mr. Gresham post that bond, that he be supervised by pretrial release with a GPS monitor, level 1, that he have no victim contact with either of the alleged victims with the initials KR and SF, that he not have any contact with any minors under the age of 16.
What about ZM?
Well, Your Honor, and I would ask that there not be any contact with ZM, as it would appear that she is a potential witness. She's not a listed victim at this time.
Okay.
No contact with any minors under 16, and that he, well, frankly, Your Honor, if the court's inclined to order level 1, then I'm not going to request that he can't go within a certain distance, a place where children congregate, because frankly, he would be on house arrest. But if the court is not inclined to order level 1 and does order, for instance, does not order level 1, then I would ask that he not be allowed to go within 500 feet of any places where children congregate. These would include any school, any playground, park, community swimming pool, etc.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Your Honor, with regard to the affidavit to arrest and the warrant, I reviewed the statute with Mr. Lindor, and it seems to me, one of these alleged victims is described basically a hug that touched the top of her butt is the phrase. I don't know that that is specifically attributable to what's in the statute, but I think that's something that the court can consider in determining what the reasonable bond is. I look at these prior allegations, and they date back to 1998 and 2002. So I don't know how probative those allegations are that Mr. Lindor is relying upon. I came in to ask the court for a reduction in bond just based on his financial situation. He's been married for 23 years. His wife is outside. They have 4 children. 2 of them are 15 and 9 years old. And, you know, he's been in this community pretty much his whole life. He has no prior criminal history, so he's not a risk of flight. Certainly, I was first contacted, Your Honor, when the school board was doing an investigation about these allegations. So clearly, you know, he's going to be suspended by the school board. He's not going to be able to return to the school. So, I mean, if that's a condition of release, then you know, I understand that, and I don't have any objection to that. You know, non-monetary conditions of release certainly aren't that much of an issue, except to the extent that it may prevent him, and we could always come back and ask for, you know, modifications if he's able to obtain employment, and he needs to be, you know, out and about, understanding other restrictions the court may impose that would be, you know, would fit whatever the, you know, the offenses that are alleged here, and in that regard. So I wanted to ask the court to consider reducing the bonds to $12,500 per count, given the fact of the lack of criminal history, given the fact that you know, you know, this is not you know, in my view, I mean, I read the statute, and I just don't think that this is the most extreme conduct that you could read that would apply to the statute. That's something the court can consider, and I recognize Judge Robolo read the facts that Your Honor has before you and made a determination that $25,000 per count was an appropriate bond. I would ask the court not to consider going higher than that. It's already had judicial review. What Judge Robolo didn't know, presumably, was that this defendant's been in the community nearly his whole life. He's married 23 years. He has minor children. He has brothers and sisters that live in the community. So those are the things that I think would militate for a less amount of bond, and certainly not higher bond. So I would ask the court to consider a reduction, but certainly not raise the bond. I think that all of those factors were considered by Judge Robolo.
Okay. Anything else?
No, not at this time, Judge.
Okay. All right, this is what the court's gonna do. The court is gonna find probable cause. I believe I said that before. Count one, the court's gonna set the bond to 25,000. Count two, the court's gonna set it at 15. This is the special condition. Sir, you to have no victim contact, direct or indirect, with the persons with the initials KR, SF, and they might be a witness as well, instead of a victim, I should say. So it is KR, SF, or ZM. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Sure.
and no contact means no contact through third parties, no calling from the jail, no texting, no Facebook, no emailing, nothing on the computer whatsoever. Okay? All right, then the other thing is you are to have no contact with any minor children not related to you by blood. And minor means 16 years of age or younger. Is that okay, State?
Yes, Judge.
By blood, I mean that means adopted children as well, okay?
Okay.
Just so there's not that issue. Anything else, State?
Your Honor, I'd requested a pretrial release with GPS
GPS?
level 1.
Okay, the court will do GPS level 1.
Judge, I mean, considering that you know, stay away from the school, stay away from victims, stay away from minor children, would the court consider that to be sufficient? I mean, given his ties to the community, he's not a flight, I would submit he's not a flight risk.
He is a U.S. citizen.
Your Honor,
Yes, and he has no passport, I'll add that.
I'm not worried about flight, Your Honor. I'm worried about, based on what's contained in this report, that I think he does need to be supervised. We need to know where he is at all times. And frankly, I think the only way to be completely secure for the safety of minors in the community is knowing that he's at home at all times. Council's already said he doesn't have a job to go to. I don't see
I
what,
have a job. I'm reassigned. I'm reassigned at the book warehouse. I haven't been around the school since.
Right,
since-
and what
since-
he's, excuse me, Mr. Gresham, let me just interject. What he's saying is
Well, your
correct.
attorney's doing a good job for you, sir, so let him speak, okay?
Yeah, Judge, look, I fully expect that he's gonna be suspended, pending the outcome of this, of these proceedings. So, so the issue becomes, does he need to, does he need the strict, monitor, particularly considering that, he has no prior criminal history. We've identified through the affidavit 2 people that are making allegations. The court's ordered him to stay away from them, ordered, as an added protection, ordered him to stay away from other minors that he is not related to. I just think that a GPS monitor, level 1 house arrest, I think that that's overly restrictive for someone who's never had any prior criminal history, and there are conditions in place that can satisfy the concerns that Mr. Linder is expressing.
Your Honor, at least 2 previous documented instances of inappropriate contact with female students was not enough to prevent these allegations that the court has found probable cause for, that Judge Roballo has found probable cause for, from occurring. There are other allegations of him inviting female students into his portable where he had a couch. For what reason, I can only imagine. He had a couch, secluded lunches with other students, bringing 2 girls out of a class to tell them they needed to have his back, the 2 alleged victims, and this was corroborated by another teacher. These allegations are too concerning, Your Honor, at this point. Certainly this can be brought before his assigned judge for further modification, but at this point for first appearance, considering his bond's already been reduced, level 1 is appropriate.
Well, Judge, we're talking about allegations from 1998 and 2002. There are no other allegations of misconduct either in this warrant or from the other, from the alleged victims in this case. So I don't see how making him sit in house arrest that's overly punitive, even based on what Mr. Linder is looking at in the warrant to justify his argument for level 1.
You said he was gonna get, fired or terminated
Well, I don't know that he's going to be, he's going to be
Suspended,
he's
whatever
certainly
the
going to
word
be
is.
suspended
from the warehouse?
from the school. From
But does the school include the warehouse?
yes, that's part of the school grounds.
Well, I certainly don't want him on the school grounds.
It's not.
That's,
Oh, wait.
not with these allegations.
It's not the school grounds, Mr. Gresham?
No, it's not. It's miles and miles away. It's where the it's where the buses.
But he's gonna get suspended from there, so
And shouldn't the,
what would be the difference? Just
Shouldn't the
hold
co-
on a second, so what would be the difference?
What's the difference for
If he
what?
gets suspended, then he's not gonna have a job, so why couldn't he do level 1?
Well, because Judge, he'll need to go out and look for work. And the question is whether level 1 is necessary for the safety of the community and for his appearance in court. And I submit that it's more, it's not necessary. It's overly punitive for him to have to sit at home.
Well,
Because you're putting
it's better than sitting in jail, and I'm not saying that
no, but I just you're
sarcastically. I mean,
I
he's
know,
sitting-
I
he's
appreciate.
sitting at home on a couch. So
I appreciate that, certainly, and any defendant would choose level 1 over jail any day of the week. But what I'm suggesting is that because Your Honor is putting other conditions in place, that level 1 is overly, it's overkill.
I think the threat he poses is too great just for the court to have utmost confidence that he won't be around other minors just because you order him not to.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it at level 1. It's without prejudice. Let his division judge decide, and you can have a full hearing in front of them.
Very
Okay?
well, Judge. I mean, I
All right.
respect the court's ruling.
All right, thank you, and your attorney did a good job, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if I heard Paul saying he's not to go to any place that's,
Hold on, counselor.
juveniles congregate.
Counselor?
Yes.
Okay, pretrial is asking me a question. Can you state it on the record?
I know that there are times when the state will ask or that the court order that the defendant does not go to anywhere that children congregate. I'm not sure if I heard that. I was just asking the court for clarification.
No, I didn't, say that. Is that what you
No
want me to
problem.
add? I
Well,
mean, where's
I
he?
mean, how-
He's on house, he's on level
That's what I would
one.
inquire, is that, well, I would, if I could inquire from pretrial, could that be an issue?
Yeah.
If he's on house arrest, because my understanding is he can go to his attorney's office.
Right. Well, on your way to the attorney's office, don't swing by the park.
Well, if he's in a car, I mean, I'm just saying. That's fine for now.
I know sometimes they do that.
Okay, so we're,
Is there any stepchildren? Because I just put
no, they're,
letter,
they're under
adoption.
stepchildren.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was
Yeah.
gonna put by marriage as well.
Okay, no, I appreciate
All
that,
right.
Judge. I appreciate your thoroughness, Judge.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Brianna L'Oreal Weiler.
I've been informed she bonded, Judge.
Emily Rose Taylor, and then we have Brittany Lynn Bates.
I've been advised Ms. Taylor bonded. Lula.
That was your bologna sandwich. All right, Brittany Lynn Bates.
North Broward.
Good afternoon, Ms. Bates. You have false statement on motor vehicle insurance application. Bond has been set at $1,000. This is a not in custody capias. Can you bond out on $1,000, ma'am?
If I'm able to get in contact with my mother, I'm currently working on an Indian reservation in Washington. I relocated to Washington because I'm in training to be a shaman. So I don't have a cell phone. So I believe that I gave the public defender my correct numbers. I've just been literally being an Indian. So I have no idea how to get in touch with them. So I gave the public defender, and I got in a car accident a year ago, and I didn't know I had a warrant. So I would love to deal with this case and get a lawyer, but I can't do anything from being in here. So if I could get released on R&R or bailed out, either way, I just want to deal with this because I want to make it right because I didn't know it was a problem.
Okay, 2563 Carambola Circle. Is that your
Yeah.
mailing address?
Yeah, that's I have 2 mailing addresses. I have my family's farm that's in Washington, and then my aunt's house that's in Florida. So I have 2 locations of residency that you guys can
Okay,
find
what's
me.
the other address in Washington?
Oh, it's my family's farm. It's 135 Cliff Robinson Lane in Squim,
Spell it.
Washington. I'm always really bad at it, but Sequim. I may misspell it. You might have to check on your computer.
And that's the state of Washington?
Yeah, it's the state of Washington. It's in the Olympic Mountains with all the Elwha tribe and many Indian reservations.
Okay,
over
what's
there.
the zip code, ma'am?
Unfortunately, I do not know that.
And whose address is in Washington?
That would be my family's farm, the Dawson Leopold farm, on my father's side. And then my mother also lives here too, so I can stay with her until court as well.
Okay, let me
And
ask you this. Who is the
Yes, ma'am.
relative at the Cliff Robinson Lane?
Oh, that's my biological father, Jay Leopold. And I have an ID there. I have medical insurance there. I've built
Okay,
started
hold
to
on,
build a
ma'am.
life there.
Just
Yes,
hold-
ma'am.
State, is there any priors?
Yes, Your Honor. Out of Broward in 2011, she had a strong-arm robbery and attempted strong-arm robbery. It also would appear, Your Honor, that she was extradited to Broward from the state of Washington.
When? For this?
Yes, for this, because I'm showing her original place of arrest was at Clallam County Jail in Washington. And that is also what it shows.
What happened with the 2011 strong-arm robbery?
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
What happened with the 2011
She got
strong-arm
placed on
robbery?
probation.
For how long?
2 years.
Do you have any violations?
One moment.
Mr. Odom, why don't you come up, Mr. Odom?
Hold on, ma'am. Just wait a
Come and
second.
pick your case out of here? Or cases? Good afternoon. Hey, Mr. Reedy?
Well, Judge, if she has sufficient ties to the community, it sounds to me like she wants to get this over with. I mean, it's not the most heinous offense, but if she can't make bond, I'd consider the court to allow her out on pretrial release. Can you stay at that Coconut Creek address?
Yeah, well, I would like to stay with my mother's address, but I can stay at both addresses. I can stay at my aunt's address, absolutely. They didn't know, the last time I talked to my mother, she thought that I was in Washington, so I haven't been home in a year, so they would just love to have me home
I also
at
wouldn't,
either address.
I also wouldn't consider that really significant ties to the community. She was living in Washington when she was arrested.
But she can live here.
Have we been told that she cannot post the $1,000 bond?
I just don't have, I'm not sure if I'm able to contact. It's not a problem for me to stay here. I have roots here. I've lived here my whole life. Well, my adult life. And I actually had withheld adjudication when I got in trouble when I
This
was
says
younger.
5 days after the crash, she signed a no-loss statement affirming she was not directly or indirectly involved in any losses during the period her policy was lapsed.
And that's the other thing. She's here because allegedly, and the court's found probable cause, and this has actually been filed
Well, there's a warrant,
for committing fraud. So now to just accept everything she says at face value.
I understand.
No, I know, I'm,
But I don't want her sitting in jail on $1,000 bond if she can't make it. I'd like to talk about what other solutions we can have.
I don't know that there's any reason to believe that she cannot make the bond. She said she hasn't been able to reach people. Does she have phone numbers for these people? This great ties to the community she has, but she can't reach her mother?
Mr.
Your
Reedy?
sarcasm is not appreciated, Mr. Lund.
Okay, so I don't think he's being sarcastic. I think he's stating what the facts are. But in any event, I just want to know, Mr. Reedy, what's your position?
I'd ask you to put her on pretrial release, Judge. If she can stay local, you could put a monitor on her.
Yes.
Do you want me to do GPS level 2, or do you want me to, or you know what? I'm gonna put her on standard pretrial release.
Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ma'am, let me tell you what happens. If for some reason you decide not to show up to court,
No, I'll show up.
then what's gonna happen is you're gonna have a capias issued, and then you're gonna come back here again, and then you're gonna have to pay a bond.
No, I appreciate you, Your Honor. I actually went to all 6 court hearings in Washington. I just
Okay,
didn't-
Brittany, you're
Yes,
being
sir.
released, pretrial release, ROR, so now is the time to stop talking.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, ma'am, you need to make sure you check on your court dates, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
You're welcome. Camille Acius, ACCIUS.
Believe she's in North Broward. She was set this morning, Judge, but we didn't have any paperwork.
Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
George Odom standing in on behalf of Ms. McLawrence, asking first the court declare Miss, and I'm sure I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, Mrs. Cius indigent.
Sure.
Judge, there's two, it's actually 3 outstanding
Hold on
cases.
one moment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is Selena Rios.
Oh, hold on.
Okay, we need the person by the name of ACCIUS, Acius, first name Camille, Kemuel.
I'm showing Maine. I'm showing Maine.
I've been informed bonded, Judge.
Okay,
All right, well, that makes that easy.
exactly.
All right, and then the next one we have is, we're just taking 2 at a turn, Madam Deputy. Henshi Max.
Should be at Maine, Your Honor.
And Max is here present, Judge.
Okay,
Mr. Max, come on up. Judge, in speaking to Mr. Max, he believes his bond has already been posted. Is there any way to confirm that? And he declined to serve as a public defender. Oh, as far as me. State judge.
okay, are you Mr. Max?
I'm sorry?
Are you Mr. Henshi Max?
Yes.
Okay, sir, you have a resisting an officer without violence, bond set at $100. You have a capious misdemeanor and a capious traffic. One is for a suspended DL, the other one's for possession of a controlled substance. The possession of controlled substance, I have Mr. Odom in the courtroom, who is a public defender, so, or actually counsel for municipal cases, correct?
Yes, and I'm just asking the court, I heard, counsel on the other end stated that he declined services of the public defender, at least for the state cases. If the court would just ask him if he's doing the same for the city cases as well.
Did you hear that, Mr. Max?
Yes, and yes, I'll be actually getting my own lawyer for all the cases.
Okay, all right, so can you make $1,100 bond, sir?
Well, my family has already posted bail for me.
Okay, is that true? Has bond been no bond's been posted yet, so it should be showing up soon, okay?
All right,
Thank you. Selena Rios?
She's in North Broward, Judge. She's the one we had here this morning. We had no paperwork.
Okay. Hello, Miss Rios, finally. We had you this morning, but we didn't have your paperwork. All right, you have two counts. One's an out-of-county hold for a felony. You're gonna be held no bond on that. And then you have a violation of probation for a felony in Broward County, which you are going before your division judge, Ernest Cholera, on 2/27/2018 at 8:30 a.m. And you're gonna be held no bond on that. So it's 2/27, what is that, Tuesday? Yeah, this Tuesday in the morning before Judge Cholera, okay? Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Jeremy Lorenzo Consillo?
Attila, come on up, please. He's approaching, Judge.
Okay. Okay, Jeremy Lorenzo Consillo.
Yes,
Sir, you have a violation of probation for a misdemeanor for a battery in front of Judge Toy. Judge Toy set your bond at $5,000. You're going before her on March 1st, 2018 at 10 a.m. Can you post that bond at $5,000?
Oh, man.
What can you afford, sir?
Honestly, nothing. I'm not working right now. Semi-homeless.
Your Honor, this is Judge Carpenter Toy's
I
warrant,
understand. I
and-
spoke to Carpenter Toy.
And frankly, I think he's fortunate his bond's on higher. He's on probation for battery. And then within less than 3 months after being put on probation,
Okay, let me
he's,
just finish. You don't even have to go there, Mr. Hunter. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep your bond at $5,000. You have a court date March 1st, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Eric Johnson.
Mr. Johnson's approaching, Judge. He's here at Maine.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, you've been charged with trespass on occupied structure or conveyance. Bond is $25. Want to resolve your case today?
He wishes to resolve the case today, Judge.
Okay, state.
state's offer to be time served.
Okay, adjudication, time served,
He
and it
wishes
would
to
be
accept the
290. Sorry,
state's offer.
let's take it 293.
Look, much time he needs, Judge. Judge, yes, he... A year. Judge, he's gonna be requesting 1 year, time to pay the court costs.
All right, fine. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay, your name's J. Eric Johnson, Johnnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's my understanding you wish to waive your right to a trial.
What's that? I didn't catch that. You wanna waive your right to a trial? Yeah.
Is anybody
Right.
forcing you to do this?
No,
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
no.
Okay, ever been treated for a mental illness?
Well, do I have a mental illness? Have you ever been treated for a mental illness, sir? Just at the jail.
Okay, does your mental illness affect your ability to understand the nature of these proceedings today?
No.
Okay, how do you want to plead to trespass on occupied structure or conveyance, sir? No contest?
No contest.
Okay, the court's going to accept your plea, find that it's freely and voluntarily entered. The court has reviewed the court file and finds probable cause for the plea. The court's going to adjudicate time served. Court costs $293, 1 year to pay. You have 30 days to appeal the sentence of the court, sir. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed. Good luck. You're done on this case, okay? You're welcome.
Good luck, sir.
Kirk Allen Johnson, and then after that, Junior Luis Jean.
Mr. Johnson is in North Broward, Judge.
Okay. Okay, you Kirk Allen Johnson?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, sir, you've been charged with DUI, alcohol, or drug, first offense, bond set at $500. And then you have a civil traffic infraction, avoid a traffic device. The court does find probable cause. Can you afford a $500 bond, sir?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, who's gonna post that for you?
I have my own payment.
You have your own payment in your property?
Yes.
Okay, do you have cash or a debit card?
I have debit card.
Okay, all right, so,
My cash is only about 120.
okay. State, does he have anything priors?
Does pretrial have any notes by any chance? I know.
Okay, Mr. Reedy, can you do an order that he can, access his property?
Glad to do that, Judge. Are you sure, Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
You sure you can self-bond? Just tell the deputies you can self-bond. I'll ask the judge to sign an order giving you access to your property and your debit card.
Right. I already told them that at the downtown.
Okay.
So, Mr. Reedy, I hate to put some extra work on you, but is there any way we can double check on this tomorrow? So it
I'll be
doesn't
glad
happen
to.
what happened last week? Where the lady was there for 4 days and said that they wouldn't let her into her property for $100. Remember that?
Yes, I do, Judge.
Okay,
I'll make a note to myself.
all right. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Bond set at 500.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ask them to access your property. Junior Luis Jean.
Judge, Mr. Jean is here present. Not me.
Okay. All right, Mr. Luis Jean, it's Junior I have. Junior Luis Jean, okay. Sir, you have operating without a valid driver's license, your bond set at $250. Does he want to resolve this?
I spoke to Mr. Jean and no, he does not wish to resolve it. And Judge, what he's asking for is, if you would be willing to sign a phone order so he can get the phone number of his contacts, so he can call his friends and family to post his bond. From what he tells me, he'll be able to contact someone to post his monetary bond.
Okay, so we'll leave the bond at $250. Someone can check up on it and follow up and make sure. If not, we can address his bond, okay? Thank you. Good luck to you, sir. $250 bond. Okay, then we have Cedric Wayne Cooper, and after that, we have Jacoby Leon Lewis.
Mr. Cooper, come on up, please.
Mr. Cooper, you have two capiases for, one is driving under the influence, it says no bond, and the other one is possession of cannabis, no bond.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, I do understand that these, it's saying no bond on the DUI and possession of cannabis, but from the dates, I believe these are 2015 offenses. He lives in Wilton Manor, so he has an address. I don't know if the court would be willing, because his court date is on February 26th. I don't know if the court would be willing to place him on pretrial release pending his court date.
Your Honor,
And I don't know if the state would have an objection to it.
I would, because they're 2015 cases. This is from, he was arrested for a violation of probation warrant from Judge Diaz. Judge Diaz was gracious enough to ROR him on the VOP warrant. He then did not show up at his VOP hearing. At that point, Judge Diaz issued a no bond capias.
All right, court's gonna leave it as is. He'll go before his judge on Monday at 11 a.m. Jacoby Leon Lewis, and then we have Gregory Jacoby Brown.
Bonded, Judge.
Mr. Lewis did?
Correct, Judge.
Okay, and then what about Gregory Jacoby Brown?
Bonded, Judge.
Johnny Devon Wiley, and then Gregory Tom Bonker.
Mr. Johnny Wiley is here present, Judge Amanda.
Okay, sir, you have driving while license is suspended, first offense.
Judge,
Says
it's me,
no
Mr.
bond.
Wiley. This is a driving while license suspended, I believe, Judge. It's a 2014 case, and speaking to Mr. Wiley, he wishes to ask the court if you would consider resolving this case today.
Yeah, it says no show at change of plea hearing, so state.
Your Honor, for all I know that there were plea negotiations previously, and offers made, I would ask the court not to interfere in that and let him go to his change of plea hearing before Judge Pohl.
Okay, this is a 2014 case, so
It's,
I understand, sir. So I understand your position. If you'd like to make a recommendation, that's fine. If
no,
not,
I have no offer, Judge.
okay. All right, so the court will do an adjudication plus court costs of $293.
He wishes to accept the state's offer, Judge.
Okay, did you
It's
discuss?
not a state's offer, for the record.
The court's offer. He wishes
Okay.
to accept the court's offer, Judge.
All right, did he understand that? Did you discuss with him if he has 3 convictions within 5 years? The Driver's License Bureau will revoke his license for 5 years as a habitual traffic offender?
Let me talk to him, Judge.
Okay.
I did understand, Judge, and he still wishes to proceed.
Okay, sir, raise your right hand. Do you swear and/or affirm to tell the truth?
Your other right hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you swear and/or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is your name Johnny Devon Wiley?
No, Johnny Devon Wiley.
Johnny Devon Wiley, I'm sorry, sir. W-I-L-E-Y?
Right.
Okay, it's my understanding you wish to waive your right to a trial?
Yes.
Is anyone forcing you to do this?
No.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
Ever been treated for a mental illness? You can put your hand down.
No, ma'am.
You understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, a plea of his charge could result in deportation proceedings and affect your ability, sir, to remain in the United States?
I understand.
Okay, you understand also that if you have 3 convictions within 5 years of driving while license is suspended because the court's going to adjudicate you, the Driver's License Bureau will revoke your license for 5 years as a habitual traffic offender?
He just explained it to me.
Okay, so understanding that, sir, what I just explained to you and what your attorney explained to you, are you pleading guilty or no contest to driving while license is suspended?
No contest.
Okay, the court's going to accept your plea, find that it's freely and voluntarily entered. The court has reviewed the court file and finds probable cause for the plea. Court's going to adjudicate you, impose court costs of $293. The court will give you how much time?
How much time do you need to pay the court costs, sir?
6 months, I should have.
6 months, Judge.
Okay, the court will give you 6 months to pay. If you don't pay, sir, they're going to resuspend your license, or they won't allow you to get a new one, okay? You have 30 days to appeal the sentence of the court. If you can't afford an attorney, the court will appoint one. Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Good luck, sir.
Gregory Tom Bunker, and then Anthony Emmanuel Spates.
Mr. Gregory Tom Bunker is here present, Judge. He declines service as public defender. He has private counsel, Sandra Bonfiglio, Judge.
But if I could give the court an update on that, or if you want to tell him what he's charged with first, that's fine.
Okay, Mr. Bunker, you're charged with battery on an officer, firefighter, EMT. We have to set your bond today. The court does find probable cause, so
Your Honor, I spoke with Ms. Bonafiglio's office. She is not going to be representing Mr. Bonnaker because she is not a criminal attorney.
she does family law.
Right, and she did, I then subsequently received a phone call from someone who does practice criminal law, Mr. William Moore. Unfortunately, he's in Pompano. He's on his way here, but it's going to take him probably another hour or so to get here. He did provide me with his phone number. He said if it, with the court's permission, he would appear by phone.
What's his name?
William Moore.
This is William Moore.
Hi, William Moore. This is Judge Kim Malika. How are you?
How are you, Judge?
Good. We have somebody in court today by the name of Gregory Tom Bonker, Bonker. Supposedly Miss Bonfiglio represents him in a family case.
Yes, and Miss Bonfiglio contacted me. I handle, she does family law, civil litigation, so I handle her criminal matters.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it's an assault charge, a battery charge regarding a healthcare worker.
Well, it says, as stated in the time on the arrest, the defendant later identified as Bonker got into a verbal altercation with the victim in the parking lot of the hospital. During a verbal altercation, the defendant pushed the victim with his shoulder. The defendant then shoved the victim with both hands and followed the shove with a punch to the victim's face. The victim ducked the punch and tried to move away from the defendant. The defendant grabbed the victim from behind, put him in a rear chokehold, taking the victim to the ground. And then it goes on from there. So,
Is it simple battery, Judge?
it is battery on.
Your Honor, the victim was a
Officer.
paramedic at the hospital.
It was a paramedic. It says right here, the victim is a paramedic at the hospital who was on duty at the time of the incident. The victim did not want to be touched in any way, shape, or form. I spoke with the defendant in post Miranda. He admitted to me that he punched and shoved the victim. There was a video of the incident. Although it is grainy, I saw the defendant wearing white pants attack the victim, red scrubs. The defendant was medically cleared.
Judge, first of all, I really appreciate the courtesy of you reading the facts into the record. I know this is a little out of the ordinary, to say the least. I'm not seeing any probable cause issues that is based on what you've said that I could address or challenge. What is the standard bond that's on the table right now?
Well, we have to set a bond, so I'm gonna ask the state. So state, what are you recommending? And tell me if you can hear him, okay?
Your Honor, I show that Mr.
Can you hear
Bonker
him?
I can. That's Eric.
Yes.
has a prior assault causing bodily injury out of the state of Texas from 2010. Based on that and the level of violence, Your Honor, I'd be requesting a $2,500 bond.
No victim contact?
Well, yeah, yes, Judge.
And while that is reasonable, Judge, I have been in touch with the family and whatnot. I don't know how I honestly don't know that is even going to have the means of being able to make that happen. But although it's $2,500.
This is what I can do. I can put him on GPS level 2. I'll ROR him GPS level 2. No victim contact, direct or indirect. The victim has.
And if he's hearing all this on video, is he amenable to that?
Sir, can you post a $2,500 bond?
Yes, Your Honor. One of the problems at the hospital.
Okay,
Don't
sir,
talk
don't
about the
talk
facts.
About the facts of your
I
case.
understand. They have $43,000 of my money they won't return to me. If I can get a ride there and get my money, I'm supposed to get married tonight. She's flying in from California, and I'll stop by the court and pay the $2,500.
All right, now I have a concern about. Let me look at his address here. It has his address as 4300 South US Highway 1, 203-161, Jupiter, Florida.
Ma'am, can I respond to that?
You know what I think we should do?
Not say anything at this point. Yes, Judge.
So, the thing is now the state's asking for $2,500. I'm hearing that your client has $43,000, at some hospital or wherever this location was.
$2,500 is fine, Judge, if we go ahead and set that. I have not been able to speak with him yet. I've been talking to the family. He says he can post it. I have no objection to that. And if we could just go ahead and set that, I can go visit him in the jail tonight and see what we can do about posting it.
Okay, so here's where we're at. $2,500 bond, no victim contact, direct or indirect, with the initials KS, okay?
Very good, and thanks to Mr. Reedy, Eric, and to you as well, Judge, for showing me the courtesy as I was unable to get there. Just given notice about this about an hour and a half or so.
All right.
Always glad to help.
Thank you very much. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye. Okay, thank you, sir. Your attorney will be in touch with you. Anthony Emmanuel Spates.
Mr. Spates is present here at Main, Judge. He is approaching.
Okay, Mr. Spates, let's go through this. You have count 1 through there's a ruler that I gave him another one too. Count 1 through 34 is 35 is grand theft between $300 and $5,000. Bond's been set at $1,000 account. Counts 36 through
No, I want more. Not from here.
70 is uttering a false instrument, fraud, $1,000 each count. And then we have count 71 through 88, which is forgery, altering a public record or certificate at $1,000 each. So it's 88, wait, that's through, it does, you are correct. Through, okay, so this is what we have. The 71 through 106 is altering a public record, forgery. Make sure they're all the same, that's $1,000 each. And then finally, we have count 106, which is a probation violation or community control, where you have a no bond hold, and you're going before your division judge on February 26th, 2018 at 8:30 a.m. Any objection to probable cause? Or is this a warrant? Let me see. Okay, the court's going to find probable cause. So, where are we at? Counts 1 through 105. He has a no bond hold.
Your Honor, unless Mr. Romero has something to add, in light of the fact that Mr. Spates has a no bond hold on the violation of his probation, he's going to have to go in front of the judge who placed him on probation in any event. He has a court date of February 26th at 8:30. Would ask you to leave the bonds in place so he can go in front of his division judge.
Your Honor, I would just ask that the court order, and I have no objection to that, no contact, no return to Rayfield Family Academy.
Hold on. Just give me a moment because I got to sign all of these. Okay, go ahead. Madam Clerk, can you get this? No return or no contact?
To the Rayfield Family Academy, and specifically listing alleged victim with the initials SC. And
Did you get that, Madam Clerk? Okay. Anything else?
nothing from the state.
Okay.
Nothing from the fence.
Thank you. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Baby and Canino?
Mr. Canino is here present, Judge, at Main.
Okay, grand theft auto, sir. Court does find probable cause. Bond set at $1,000. Can you afford that?
Judge, from what he advised me, he cannot. He's going to be asking Your Honor to consider releasing him on pre-trial. He's been here residing in our community his whole life. He works for a paint and body shop. He's been there for about 3 years. The wages fluctuate depending on how many cars come in. He can get as much as $80 a day. He lives in Fort Lauderdale with his mother. His mother is going to be the person that he's going to be trying to contact to post his bond, but unfortunately, from what he told me, she's a telemarketer, and right now he doesn't believe she has any sort of funds available to post his bond. Judge, that's why we'd be asking you to consider releasing Mr. Canino on standard pretrial release.
State.
One moment, Judge. Well, I see he's already once previously in 2015 been arrested on a warrant for violating pretrial. He had 2015 possession of PVP, he violated probation. 2015 grand theft, he violated probation. 2015 trespass on school grounds, he violated probation. And, one moment, Judge. See another arrest for Capias on a carrying concealed weapon and theft that he resolved in 2015. Capias on a traffic matter, 2012. Sorry, that was 2014. Capias on another traffic matter in 2014. Capias on a traffic matter, 2013. Capias on a traffic matter, 2011. Capias on a traffic matter, 2010.
So you live at 2417 Northwest 20th Street?
Yes, ma'am.
Can't afford the 1,000?
No, ma'am.
Okay, sir, you're to have no victim contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim. Initials are MB. That means no calling in person through third parties, social media, Facebook, and the like. You understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ROR, GPS, level 2. Thank you, sir. Curtis Roy Miller. It's a reset.
Confirmed.
And then we have Timothy Todd Norris after that. Are you Mr. Curtis Roy Miller?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir, you have a grand theft between $300 and $5,000. The court does find probable cause. Bond set at $5,000. This is a change of charge from robbery by sudden snatching.
Yes, Your Honor, he was arraigned 2 days ago. I left a voicemail again for his attorney, counsel of record, advising the attorney that the matter had been reset for 1:30 this afternoon.
Is this a private attorney?
Yes.
Who's your attorney again?
Marcellus Masson.
Okay, she hasn't contacted anybody back, sir. I don't know why.
He's currently out of the country.
All right, so the only thing I can do, sir, because she's out of the county, we can have the public defender represent you today since your attorney's not here because we need to magistrate you.
Okay.
Okay? So, Mr. Reedy?
Yeah, I don't know that I still have the probable cause, Judge.
All right,
So
let's
I
hear
may
his
need to look
priors.
at Mr. Linders, if you have it. Do you have it, Mr. Linder?
I don't.
Let me see if he's, my computer's acting very, very strange this afternoon. Let me see if I can pull it up.
While Mr. Reedy's looking, and I was just going to be asking for the court to keep the $5,000 bond in place, considering he's already been arraigned by his judge. And he's got no bond holds out of Dade County for VOP for robbery with a firearm or deadly weapon and trafficking in stolen property.
All right, that'll be fine then, Judge. If he has no bond holds, he's
Yeah,
gonna
sir,
have to
if you
work that
no bond
out.
hold, it doesn't matter what we put on this charge because you're being held no bond. So if something changes, you said out of Miami?
Yes.
So if something changes out of Miami, then have your attorney file a motion with your division judge. But for now, just based on you have a no bond hold, we'll leave it at 5,000, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Good luck to you. Okay, Timothy Todd Norris, and then we have Shemar Walters. Your name, sir? Timothy Todd Norris?
Here at Maine, Judge?
Hi, Mr. Norris, how are you?
All right, ma'am. Timothy Todd Norris.
Okay, you have grand theft between $300 and $5,000. The court does find probable cause. Bond is set at $1,000. Can you pay that, sir, or someone else pay it?
Not right now, ma'am. Not at all.
Do you reside at 2056 Scott Street?
Yes, ma'am. That's Bill C. For veterans.
The what?
EOC for veterans,
They
Judge?
got veterans.
That's one of his benefits. He's an Army veteran. He served from 86 to 91. he received services, and that's where he's residing at.
I'm a combat vet.
He's 52 years old. He's been here for about 10 years, Judge. I asked him, is there anybody I can contact for him? If he has any money in property or anything like that. Unfortunately, both questions were answered in the negative. There's no one he can contact, so he's asking to be released on pretrial release, Judge.
The problem is, Judge, he's actually out on 4 separate felony cases before Judge Merrigan in Veterans Court. He actually had a status conference on those cases 2 days prior to this arrest. He's out on 3 separate felony thefts and 1 possession of cocaine.
So how many cases did he have pending while he committed this offense on February 21st?
4.
All right, court's gonna leave the bond at $1,000. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Shemar Walters and then Steve Pierre.
I believe Conte, Judge.
We have, yes, Walter.
Okay, are you Miss Shemar Walters?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you have aggravated battery with the firearm. Says 25-year minimum ban. Am I reading that correct?
Yes,
Sure.
ma'am.
Hey, hold on, sir. Don't say anything, okay?
Your Honor, and I showed Mr. Reedy the findings that I provided the court from his original first appearance before Judge Miranda. While the charge has technically been upfiled because of the enhancement that you mentioned,
Because of what?
the enhancement, the minimum mandatory enhancement,
This is a change of charge, yep.
Yeah, I'm still going to request that the court place the $25,000 bond back on him. As Mr. Reedy pointed out to me, which is also true, he's being held no bond, court order no bond on another case anyway, so.
All right, so you're being held on no bond on another case, sir? So the court is gonna keep the bond on this case at $25,000. If something changes on the no bond on your other case, then you could certainly file a motion with your division judge and seek to redress the bond in this case, okay?
Yes, but can I get pretrial on the no bond hold?
I can't, I'm not dealing with the no bond hold, it's not in front of me. It's assigned to another judge. So that's the judge you have to go before, okay?
Your attorney is Mr. Richard Eagles. I'll let him know what's going on, all right, Shamar?
All right, thank you.
Okay, good luck, man.
to you. Oh, this goes on the bottom of that. Then we have Steve Pierre.
Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Pierre, you have trafficking in heroin between 14 and 28 grams. Bond that is set at 250,000. Well, actually, that's count 3. Count 4 is armed trafficking methamphetamines more than 28 grams, between 28 and 300 grams. Bond set at 100,000. And then you have count 10, which is possession with intent to sell, manufacture, or deliver. It appears to be, is that cannabis?
Your Honor, before we really go any further, James Lewis, there's a joint stipulation for substitution of counsel in this case, and James Lewis is now.
Okay, why don't we finish with this one since we're in the middle of it?
No, on this case.
Oh, I thought it was the case from before.
No, this case.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. James Lewis is representing Mr. Pierre now.
And Mr. Lewis is in California. Is that the one? Same
No,
Lewis?
no.
Another one?
Jim Lewis. No, I don't think that's a different, that was a different.
No, he was in California because he represents the family and the.
Oh, maybe that came up when I was in here.
Yeah, he's not. He hasn't moved out there. I don't. He might be back by now. I don't know.
I could call his office if you want.
All right, so why don't we call his office?
Sure.
All right, so Mr. Pierre, have a seat. We'll be right back to you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Willie.
Okay, Lucas Leonel Caceres,
I think he may have bonded, Judge.
and then we're gonna take a break. Mr. Romero is gone.
Probably.
Yep, I don't blame him.
He didn't get away in time, Judge.
First one here at 12:45.
I know.
All right, but I think we're done, Judge, as far as Maine.
What about Lucas Caceres? Was he at the main jail?
Is that the one on the second look? Lucius Caceres?
No.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Is out of custody, Judge. He's bonded.
Okay, well, perfect.
So at this time, Judge, I think I'm done, so I'll see you tomorrow.
Wait, who's on the
Wait,
second
wait,
look?
we have,
There was one
I think we
gentleman
have
that was,
Kelvin
I believe,
Burrows.
here at Maine. His name was Keon Calvin, second look docket, but the deputies just gave me the latest information. He was released, so he bonded, Judge.
Awesome. All right, so that one will take off. See you tomorrow. Have a good day.
Thanks, Deputy Johnson, for that information. Thanks, Judge.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I have a Kelvin Burrows here for.
Sorry, Deputy, I forgot all about you. This man's not on the docket, but they did have him on their list.
But that's a Monga, but I have a
I
Kelvin
have him.
Burrows.
I have him on the docket.
What's his name?
Burrows Kelvin.
Kelvin Burrows. All right, so let's let Mr. Linder finish. Let me call Michelle. Hey, what happened, Mr. Linder?
I'm on hold, Your Honor. He's there. I'm just on.
Okay. Let me just tell you, sir, well, let me finish what I was trying to tell you. Count 10 is possession with intent to sell, manufacture, or deliver cannabis over 20 grams.
You need Mr. Kerrigan?
Yes. Sorry, Mr. Pierre, we're still trying to get in touch with your attorney, but I didn't get to finish. So you have count 2, trafficking heroin, $250,000 bond. I told you about count 4, $100,000 bond, which is the armed trafficking of the methamphetamine. And count 10 is possession with intent to sell or deliver cannabis over 20 grams. So that bond is set at $100,000. There's $351,000 in total bond. I don't want you to comment or anything. I just at least wanted to tell you what the charges were and what the current bonds were. Did we get in touch with Mr. Lewis?
I'm still on hold, Judge.
Okay, I couldn't see you're still on the phone.
I know about it.
Okay, can you speak into, so, commitment's telling me that count 4 is gonna be corrected, and it's not gonna be armed anymore, it's just gonna be trafficking methamphetamine, between 28 and 300 grams.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna go sidebar, just one moment.
Vassell, whoever that is. I spoke to.
Better not be sick tomorrow.
Why? I'll still be here.
No, I'm saying,
Matter?
yeah,
Why?
I want you to be here, because I
Oh.
got stuff we gotta do on this thing.
Yeah, I'll be here. I don't
Okay.
care. But I spoke to Lenora Regal Hart, who is one of the supervisors for the felony second look, and she was telling me to go. You need to tell the person who does a docket every morning, and then but she wants me to email them. But I don't want to email them.
Okay.
who?
Speak to the sergeant of the road patrol. And then I also need plantation. Police department. Road patrol. Oh, plantation, I need the sergeant of the road.
Sergeant of the road patrol.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Gonna put a different color. It would be nice if it had ornaments. I have this, did you do these?
No, I saw that, but I didn't want to email it.
What about, why, these are misdemeanors?
Hmm?
These are misdemeanors.
These cleaners are actually probably caught on the plastic floor and it track smoke as well. She said she couldn't tell me any of these felonies, but any misdemeanors.
So then you call up
or
Veronica
hands
Carroll and you say,
I
look,
did, I called her and I left her a message again. She never returned my call. Yet,
when did you call her?
when you left, when you walked out.
This one, I just want to tell you, is in front of Cal Evans. They have this case for this girl, same person. She got a capias and she was in custody.
Oh, okay.
Just tell them is don't call her. Find out what's going on with her case. Because she's in custody. It should be, I want to make sure.
Judge wants an answer now.
This one I want to do a second, okay?
On call.
Do a second look on her. Okay.
This one. I would just do the case numbers, send it to Veronica Carroll. And do you know Mr. Reyes?
No.
There's email Reyes, he's somewhere there.
Okay. And then into her, right?
Hmm?
Into her, she's the, felony supervisor.
Fine, ask who the misdemeanor one is. Say, please put these on the second one as soon as possible, we're all in custody. I don't know which number you give. Make sure you're very careful with those numbers.
I have a cell phone. I have a couple.
However, what were you doing? By what? The name?
Hello. Hello, hi.
Okay, then do that then. That's fine. Okay, so where are we at?
Calling
Still
him
on
his
hold?
cell.
I couldn't hear you.
I couldn't hear you.
I'm calling him on his cell.
Okay. That's okay. Okay, that's okay. All right. No, it's not sure.
Do you know if Kelvin Burrows, if,
They have McConte, Judge. He's ready to go anytime you say.
Hasn't been filed.
okay, so we can ROR him?
Yes.
Okay, are you Kevin Burrows?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, good news for you. We're gonna ROR you. The state has not filed charges yet. That doesn't mean that they are not going to file charges. But, right now, you're gonna be ROR'd, okay? Good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That's okay. That's okay. It's Carfini pa.
Keep-
Carfini pa din. Okay, bye. Bye. My That's my mom.
I know, but here.
She's at a farm.
Uh,
Fruits and vegetables.
Your Honor, Mr. Lewis's voice mailbox is full.
That's what happened the other day. Okay, Mr. Pierre,
I stepped out. Maybe went to one of the other offices around there, maybe.
your attorney's voicemail is full, and we had the situation the other day when, did someone try calling his office?
Yeah, I spoke to his office. She thought he was coming, that's why I was on hold the whole time. She thought he was coming back, but he might have stepped out to someone else's office or.
Okay, what's his office number? 954?
523-7949.
Okay. In 10 minutes, okay? He's on his way, he's across the street.
All right, thank you.
All right, have a seat.
Judge, there is a matter that the deputies at Conti have brought to my attention. It's a matter that does not appear on our docket. It's a Stephen Molnar, and it appears as though he's been in custody for some time.
All right, do you have a case number? Can
I do, Judge, I do.
All right, give me the case number.
1605 2852 TC40A.
Stephen Molnar,
Yes, ma'am.
or Molnar?
Yes, that was, are you Mr. Molnar?
Yes.
Why are you still in jail, Mr. Molnar?
I have no idea.
Your
All
bond.
right, this is an expired motor vehicle registration over 6 months. And he's been in jail for how long?
Looks like a long time, Judge. 40 days?
Do you have a felony pending, sir, or anything else?
I have a, no appearance in court, Your Honor.
Okay, but
Hollywood. That's it.
is that for,
Brian, how do you spell his first name?
STEPHAN.
middle initial J?
Doesn't, I don't think it's been 40 days. I'm not saying it can't be resolved, but he was arrested February 3rd.
He had to go to court, he has a PD, co-counsel, demand for discovery. He was in court on 2/8, in front of Judge Brown, and he has a hearing March 5th. So, I mean, if he wants to resolve it today, I would entertain resolving it, if this is his only thing on an expired tag.
According to BSO Picks, it's the only thing holding him.
I mean, yeah, I don't have objection as long as he's advised, because it's awfully curious why it wasn't resolved at his arraignment, and I imagine there must have been a reason. There was a public defender.
Hold on, somebody filed a motion to withdraw. Let me take a look. And I think it might have
Sir,
been our
without
office.
getting into the
Should've been the
facts of the
next
case
day.
or your conversations with your attorney, is there a reason why you didn't resolve this case when you just were before Judge Brown?
MOLNAR.
It looks as though, Judge, that Judge Brown on February 8th signed an order saying Mr. Molnar didn't qualify for the public defender, therefore were removed from his case. So he may have been sitting in custody without a lawyer. That's why he may have been sitting there since February 8th.
Then a notice of appearance was filed the very next day by the public defender.
Well, that's nothing unusual.
No, and then he was declared indigent on February 9th.
A lot of times too, someone, a clerk finds them not indigent, and then they lose their job or something happened and they become indigent again.
It was the very next day, and it does list the attorney, the public defender that filed the notice of appearance. That's who's listed as his attorney on Odyssey.
Okay. Do you have any objection to this case being resolved with the withhold and court costs? If you do, I'll ROR 'em.
I'm fine with the case being resolved, Your Honor. I'm just asking the court to advise him, because I don't know. Maybe there was a reason it wasn't resolved in front of Judge Brown, whether there was a public defender or not. It wasn't resolved. And
Well,
then
I was
maybe-
trying to ask him, and Mr. Reedy stepped in, and I don't have a problem with that. So let me ask you again, sir, don't get into the facts of your case or your conversations with any attorney, whether they represent you now or not. Is there any reason why you didn't resolve your case in front of Judge Brown the other day?
Not that I know, Your Honor.
All right, do you want to resolve your case today, sir?
Yes.
If not, I can ROR you.
Your Honor, and I would ask, because this is, it doesn't, on its face, it does not seem like a significant charge. But I've heard, you've been here a period of time, you hear stories about cases that don't seem that bad, but there's something, and that's, the fact that it wasn't resolved, it has me a bit concerned. I'm familiar with Judge Brown, and I imagine she would have a reason for not making an open plea on a failure to register expired tag.
I'm pretty familiar with Judge Brown myself. She's been a friend of mine for 30 years, so. No, I appreciate what the state's saying, I really do, but I don't see anything else holding him. It's,
All right, this is what I'm gonna do, Mr. Linder. I'm either gonna ROR him, I cannot, if there's nothing else in good conscience, I cannot keep him in jail on an expired motor vehicle. Otherwise, he can resolve the case today if the state has no objection to a withhold and court costs.
I'm objecting to the case being resolved by this court. It's not on the court's docket. He's been seen by Judge Brown.
All right, that's fine, I understand. Okay, so sir, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna ROR you, okay, sua sponte. Do you want me to sign an order?
yeah, I'll draft an order, Judge. Oh, you're gonna do it, Madam Clerk? You're the
Okay.
best, Madam Clerk. Call.
Hey, sir, one thing I want to advise you of. I don't know what your address is that they have. Let me just see something.
600 Lane Boulevard, apartment 126, Allendale Beach.
Your driver's license has 303 Southeast 2nd Street.
That is no longer my address.
Well,
Then
you gotta change your driver's license and update your address, and I don't wanna know whether it is or not. I'm just saying, when you change your address, it doesn't magically change by itself. So you have to change your motor vehicle registration, your driver's license, your address if you have a pending case. You have to provide written notice to the clerk. So, Madam Clerk, can you take down his new mailing address and update it? Can you tell us, sir, and say it slowly, his new mailing address?
600 Lane Boulevard, apartment 126, Allendale Beach, Florida, 33009.
So are you represented by the public defender now?
I have no knowledge of what's going on at all, Your Honor.
If I might make a recommendation, Your Honor. Mr. Molnar, tomorrow, because you may not get out of jail and you won't get out of jail in time to do it today, Tomorrow, you're to call the public defender's office and find out who your public defender is and make an appointment and come in and see that person, okay?
I've been trying.
I think it's Inga Iveson, but I'm not sure. Do you hear me, Mr. Molnar?
Yes, I'm not positive myself.
All right, well, why don't you, I'm not either, so call our office and find out, okay? Because this case isn't over with, you're being released.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good luck to you, sir, and thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Okay, let's have Mr. Steve Pierre. Mr. Lewis, would you like to talk to him on the phone? Want to talk to him on the phone? We can get him on the phone. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, so we have Mr. Lewis here, live and in person.
Judge, good afternoon. Jim Lewis on behalf of Mr. Pierre. Judge, we were actually arraigned this morning.
Was it on these change of charges?
Before Judge Duffy, right. We were actually arraigned, so it wasn't set for a couple days, but because we were there on another case, he was actually arraigned this morning. And he is no bond on the other case that he has, and I think there are standard bonds set on this case. So we can just address it all in front of Judge Duffy in due course, if that's all right.
I spoke with Mr. Lewis. That's all I was gonna be requesting, is just for these bonds to be left in place, and I'm.
Okay, so let me just make it clear. So trafficking in heroin between 14 and 28 grams, 250. Count 4, it says armed trafficking, methamphetamines.
That's a misspoke, it's not on.
Let me finish. I am going to delete the armed, and then count 10 is possession with intent to sell, deliver, or manufacture cannabis. 250, 100, 250,000, 100,000, and $1,000 bond. Okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Okay.
Have a nice